western Washington. And on his land this man he had a deep dark hole upon. People came from miles around to throw their trash down in to see how deep the hole was and listen for its end. Then one day, that fateful day, they forced Mel off his land. They paid him off and sent him off down under with a plan. They hid Mel's hole and covered it up so ne'er it could be found, so no one would ever know what's deep down in Mel's ground. Yippee-yi-yay.
You're listening to The Paranormal Lawyer on Night Dreams Talk Radio.
Michael, you're on.
Good evening, everyone, east and west of the Rockies, north and south of the Pleiades, in every time zone and dimension. This is your paranormal lawyer, Michael W. Hall, coming at you like a cosmic tumbleweed, blowing in from an undisclosed location deep within the bowels of an abandoned Nike missile site, preparing for the stuff before it hits the fan. Join me tonight as we fight the deep state, red pill the sheeples, and search for whatever truth there is out there, or in lieu of that, any cheap facsimile thereof. Grab your favorite beverage, kick those shoes off, and let's spend the next couple of hours together exploring the paranormal, UFOs, conspiracy theories, ghosts and Bigfoot, and so much more. Let's all jump on the bus and take a ride. And hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. Sunday night again, 7 p.m. to 9. I really want to thank you for joining us here on nightdreamstalkradio.com. First of all, I want to give a shout out to all of our growing hordes of listeners out there across the United States, and that includes our trucker buddies out there on the highways and byways of America. You guys stay safe out there. And of course, our great friends in Western and Eastern Europe. We've got a lot of audience listening in there from the UK to Belarus, and from Hawaii to Australia, even the China Sea, believe it or not. So thank you for joining our growing community of paranormal truth seekers here on Night Dreams Talk Radio. Well, tonight, by the way, I want to give you a little outline of what we've got planned for you. We have, in just a few minutes, I'm hoping we have what we call our paranormal news update. And we're going to take a few minutes off the top of the hour here with the producer-director of Pacific North Weird. That's my friend Vince Inunza, who is our roving reporter of the weird and wonderful. And we'll see if we can get a report from Vince on what's going on out there in the paranormal world. Then a really kind of a fun event is going to happen probably down at the bottom of the hour. My old friend and longtime client, Peter Davenport, from the director of the National UFO Reporting Center, will be calling in with some amazing, fast-breaking UFO, UAP sighting reports. He's got some stuff that just happened last night that I think he wants to share with us, an exclusive audience for these reports. And, of course, we have our special guests tonight on the show, the Wade brothers. That's Phillp and Timothy Wade from Ambition Pictures, and they are sci-fi, paranormal, unique filmmakers here in this genre. Now, we're going to talk about some of their current projects that they're working on as well. Gosh, I don't know if we have Vince on the line yet for the paranormal news update. I will take a pause and see if we've got him on the line.
No, we don't.
Okay, thank you, Gary. The voice of God there just told me that Vince isn't checked in yet. He might a little bit later, so what I will do is go right into the show and not waste any time to get our main guests here up and running. And first of all, I want to introduce you to two of the Wade brothers. And believe me, I believe there's a lot more than just these two. But we've got Phillp, the older brother, and Tim is younger, but not much younger. And these folks are they have a company called Ambition Pictures that have been award-winning filmmakers for quite a few years. And I'm going to invite them on the show right now and say hello to you two.
Hey, good evening, Michael. It's good to be here.
All right. Thank you, guys. Oh, wonderful, Tim. Matter of fact, I guess you guys are both calling in from different locations. Is that right?
Yeah, we're using two different.
Great, super. I really appreciate you taking the time tonight to be with us here on Night Dreams Talk Radio, because you guys are kind of unique in the film business here. Is that you kind of concentrate on some of these really amazing sci-fi productions that you've got going. And I know you've got another production that's coming up closer to the paranormal that we will be talking about a little later. But why don't I do this? Let's have Phil take over right now and just tell us a little bit about how the heck you and Tim and the rest of your gang there got started in filmmaking. I understand you were quite young.
You know, that's absolutely true. So, yeah, Tim and I started back when, I think I was about 12 or so. So it goes back a few years. But, yeah, we stole my dad's old video camera that he used to film weddings. And so we started making little projects. And our first project was called Adventure in the Mysterious Forest. Remember that, Tim?
Yep, I do.
Yeah. We filmed that on those old tapes, and we didn't have any, way to edit anything, so we had to shoot it all in sequence. And then to add music to it, we would have a little cassette recorder, and we would put all the music on those little cassette tapes and hold it next to the microphone and hit play on the tape at the same time we were recording to get our music in the background. So that was pretty much all we had to work with for a little while. But it gave us a great opportunity to start playing around, get our feet wet, and most important thing, of course, is, to have fun. So that's exactly what we did.
That is a great story. I love to hear the beginnings of people's careers, and it reminds me, your guys' story reminds me of a story I heard about how Steven Spielberg actually got started in his film projects as a young guy in high school. Actually, he was a little older at that point than you guys were. But the reason I know this story is that my father went to Columbia University to get his doctorate degree in education. One of his classmates was a guy who had as a principal in high school in Arizona, Steven Spielberg in his school. And he saw that this kid was so talented with the little 8mm, cameras that he was kind of going out and doing things with, that he went out and actually bought him with his own money Spielberg's first 16mm film camera. And at that point, Steven Spielberg was working on one of these. I mean, you can see this on YouTube if you scour for it out there, but it was a movie about that he called Firefly, and it was about this insect kind of like creature that was living out in the deserts of Arizona. And he was doing that with a 16mm film camera, probably very similar to what you guys were doing. I don't even know if he had good audio on that thing, but Have you ever heard that story about how Steven Spielberg got started out there when he was a kid?
No, yeah, actually, yeah, it's. I mean, I've heard quite a bit of, stories about his younger days of his career, but yeah, no, that's a new one. I like it.
Yeah, and it reminds me of you guys with your audio cassette tapes holding up to the microphone while you're filming in real time, right, without editing. Is that how you did it?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, that was it.
Well, and of course, it sounds to me that you had at least a father who was familiar with film cameras or at least videotape back then. Is that how you guys got started? Was it family videos taking all the time in your family?
Yeah, actually, some of my earliest memories were in front of my dad, like filming us. He'd put us in little, our fun little kid toys, and he'd make little home movies and stuff. And so, I mean, I've always felt comfortable in front of a camera for my entire childhood.
So he would use you. He would use you guys as guinea pigs. Sounds like, right?
Oh yeah, he would do all the fun little camera tricks, make you disappear, and you stop recording and you move out of the way and then you start again. Oh man, he was our first, we could call first film teacher.
What about stop action video? Did you ever guys do that stuff to make some of your toys animate at all?
Oh, every Christmas with the little, the little Victorian sets and stuff that people put out, we'd take the cameras and make the little people and do a bunch of crazy stuff.
We had little train sets too, and it was to move the trains around, on the tracks, and then had little model airplanes, and I do the same thing with those. We had this one, what was it called? Train set. It was a battle of the train set or something like that. Remember where we had the airplanes flying over and dropping bombs on the trains, all that?
Oh. Yeah, you guys were creative even back then with your own equipment that you had. I can imagine that's how you learn the trade. Learn how to do the craft and learn how to do it better and better. What do you suppose was your first major upgrade in technology from your original huge, probably VHS tapes that you were using? What happened next?
Yeah, well, good question. The biggest step that we took was, I think when I was 16, I bought a Panasonic DVX 100. And I got it from a filmmaker, Clint Loveness, out in Texas, and he was done using it. The DVX 100 is a classic in film. It's it uses mini DV tapes, and it's HD, of course. Or actually, no, it's SD. It's the next version up, the DVX 100B. That was the HD version. But this is an HD. It had a 3 sensor, which gave it better color. And it had a manual focus as well as an XLR input so you could record better audio. And it gave you a lot of the basics that you would use for cinematography. So you could do things like change your shutter speed. You could, adjust your white balance to, whatever Kelvin temperature you wanted. There's a lot of features on it that are similar to, higher end cameras. And of course, this was also the first prosumer camera that introduced 24 frames a second. So for a long time, the only way you could get 24 frames a second is to shoot film, right? So this was the first digital camera that did 24. And I was excited a lot of filmmakers. And the reason for that is because 24 frames a second is the cinema standard. And a lot of digital cameras always shoot at about 29.97 or about 30 frames a second. So you were getting a slightly different look